Ladies and gentlemen, let me paint a picture you'll never forget. Imagine you're on a plane. Your seatbelt's fastened, the attendants are smiling, and the captain's calm voice comes over the speaker, "Welcome aboard." Everything feels ordinary. You scroll your phone, sip your drink, and wait for takeoff. But here's something most people never think about: if the pilot tilts the plane's nose by just 1 degree, nobody on board would notice. Everything would look and feel exactly the same. But after a few hours in the air, that tiny change doesn't land you in New York anymore. You might end up hundreds of miles away, maybe in Washington, D.C., or even over the Atlantic Ocean. That's the power of small shifts. A 1-degree change seems invisible today, but over time, it completely rewrites your destination. Now hold on to that image, because it's a perfect reflection of life. Your habits, your choices, your daily decisions, what you eat, what you read, what you spend time on, are just like that tiny tilt. Whether you pick water or soda, read a few pages or scroll TikTok, save $1 or waste it, those small choices don't look important in the moment. But stretched over years, they decide whether you land in success or in regret. And this idea, this quiet, powerful truth, is something Japan once used to rebuild an entire nation. After World War II, Japan was shattered. Cities were gone, factories destroyed, hope broken. They didn't have money, or resources, or confidence. But they had one revolutionary idea: Kaizen, which means continuous improvement. They weren't chasing miracles. They focused on small, daily progress. Factory workers were told, make your process just 1% better. Managers were told, find one tiny improvement each day. Students were told, learn just a little more. It wasn't flashy. Nobody applauded. But over time, that quiet, boring dedication transformed Japan into one of the strongest economies in the world. They rebuilt not with explosions, but with persistence. That's the Kaizen rule, the 1% rule. But here's the problem: most people today have no patience for that kind of growth. We live in a world that worships speed. People want abs in a week, wealth in a month, and peace after one meditation session. And when it doesn't happen instantly, they quit. That's why New Year's resolutions die before February. That's why gyms are packed in January and empty by March. People don't fail because their goals are wrong, they fail because they underestimate how powerful small, consistent action really is. Let's make this simple, and maybe a little funny. If you eat a pizza tonight, will you wake up overweight tomorrow? No. Skip brushing your teeth once, will they fall out by morning? No. Go for a jog today, will you look like an Olympian next week? Of course not. Life doesn't reward or punish instantly. Success and failure are both slow, quiet, and sneaky. They creep up on you, and one day, you wake up either proud or disappointed. Think about Warren Buffett. People see a billionaire today, the jets, the headlines, the power. But he started as a teenager investing small amounts, nothing dramatic. He calls it the snowball effect. You roll a small snowball down a hill, and at first it looks silly. But it keeps gathering snow, growing faster, heavier, unstoppable. Buffett didn't make one miracle investment. He built decades of tiny, compounding decisions. Or look at Cristiano Ronaldo. When practice ends, most players head home. Ronaldo stays: extra drills, extra shots, extra effort. That's his 1%. Year after year, it compounds into greatness. Talent gave him a start, discipline built his legend. But remember, the 1% rule works both ways. The negative side is just as powerful and much scarier. Smoke one cigarette today, nothing happens. Do it every day for 10 years, and it's not a cigarette anymore, it's a health crisis. Skip one workout, fine. Skip every day, now you're 30 pounds heavier. Forget to say I love you once, no problem. Forget it every day, your relationship turns cold. Negative 1% choices quietly destroy destinies. And we all see this in our lives. Tell yourself, just one Netflix episode, and 3 hours later you've finished half a season. Just 1 minute on my phone, and suddenly it's midnight. Meanwhile, someone else says, just 10 pages. Just one paragraph. Just $1 saved. and that person slowly gets ahead. The question isn't whether the 1% rule works, it always does. The real question is, which direction are you moving in? Toward discipline and growth, or toward excuses and regret? Success is never about one massive leap, it's about small steps, repeated daily. And failure? It's not about one big mistake, it's about tiny errors ignored over time. Like a stonecutter striking a rock, nothing happens on the 99th hit, but the 100th blow splits it in half. It wasn't that one strike, it was all the quiet effort before it. You're the pilot of your airplane. You may not see the destination yet, but your habits are steering you there right now. 1 degree today might feel invisible, but in 10 years, it's unstoppable. Let's talk about why big goals fail and small habits win. Almost everyone has made a New Year's resolution. But how many actually make it to December? Be honest, not many. It's not because people are lazy or unmotivated. It's because we've been trained to chase big, dramatic goals. This year I'll lose 20 kilos. This year I'll make $1 million. This year I'll read 100 books. It sounds exciting until it becomes exhausting. Big goals create big pressure, and big pressure creates fast failure. Think of gyms in January, full of people. By March, empty. Motivation is like sugar, sweet, powerful, and gone in 5 minutes. But habits are like rice or bread, they sustain you daily. Motivation burns fast, habits burn forever. Thomas Edison didn't wake up and say, "I'll invent the light bulb by Friday." He failed hundreds of times and said, "I just found hundreds of ways that don't work." The light bulb wasn't a miracle, it was the 1% rule in action. The truth is, big goals overwhelm us. Tell a child, read 100 books this year, they'll panic. Tell them, read 5 pages tonight, they'll do it. Repeat that daily, and a year later, 100 books are done. Jeff Bezos didn't start Amazon saying, "I'll build $1 trillion empire." He started by selling 1 book. Then 2. Then 10. He wasn't climbing the mountain, he was picking up pebbles every day. But people hate small steps because they look boring. If I told you, do 1 push-up, you'd laugh. That's nothing. But if you add 1 more every day, in a year, you're doing 365 push-ups. That's how boring becomes powerful. The human brain craves drama, that's why people binge Netflix till 3 a.m. but complain about reading 10 pages. It's why they dream about running marathons but don't walk 10 minutes. Why they say they'll save $10,000 but never start with $1. Big goals fail because they demand too much, too soon. Small habits win because they demand almost nothing but grow quietly until they become unstoppable. And remember, nobody ruins their life overnight. It's tiny habits. Ignoring work to check Instagram. Eating junk instead of cooking. Avoiding that one tough conversation. Slowly, you build the habit of failure. Success and failure both grow like compound interest. Each choice is a deposit, the only question is whether you're depositing in the bank of success or the bank of regret. So don't chase the mountain, pick up the stone. Don't say, "I'll change my life tomorrow." Say, "I'll improve my life by 1% today." That's how nations rebuild. That's how businesses thrive. That's how people transform. If you want to write a book, start with 1 sentence. If you want to lose weight, start with 1 walk. If you want to build wealth, save 1 coin. The magic isn't in doing it once. The magic is in doing it every single day until it compounds. The mountain seems impossible, but the stone in front of you is easy. Keep lifting stones, and one day you'll realize you've moved the mountain. Now, let's talk about the engine behind it all, discipline. Everyone loves motivation. It's shiny, exciting, shareable. But discipline? That's the quiet one in the corner, the broccoli of success. Nobody cheers for discipline, but it's the one that changes everything. Imagine 2 people start working out. Person A shouts it from Instagram, "New year, new me." Expensive shoes, fancy gym, all hype. Person B says nothing. Just 20 push-ups a day. 1 month later, A's gone, motivation expired. B's still consistent. By March, A's on the couch, pizza in hand. B's stronger. By December, A's making the same resolution again. B doesn't need to, they already live it. Who won? Not the loud one, the quiet one. Discipline is what makes the 1% rule stick. Without it, your improvement turns into an excuse. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm too tired today. But skipping once is never just once. It's the beginning of a negative pattern. Think about bamboo. For 5 years, you water it, protect it, care for it, and nothing grows above the ground. People laugh. But underground, the roots are spreading. Then, in year 5, it shoots up 90 feet in 6 weeks. That's discipline. You don't see progress right away, but once it arrives, it's unstoppable. The same happens in every field. Novak Djokovic wins tournaments because he practices the same serve thousands of times. Stephen King writes every day, birthdays, holidays, doesn't matter. He says, amateurs wait for inspiration. Professionals just get to work. That's discipline, doing it even when you don't feel like it. And discipline isn't punishment. It's choosing which pain you prefer, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The pain of waking up early, or the pain of realizing years later that you wasted your mornings. The pain of saying no to fries, or the pain of losing your health. Discipline is simply trading short-term comfort for long-term freedom. And here's the irony, people think discipline makes life harder. It actually makes life easier. Without it, every day is a war. Should I work or scroll? Gym or Netflix? But with discipline, there's no debate. You just do it. That's real freedom. Success also demands sacrifice, giving up what you love now for what you'll love more later. Elon Musk sleeping in his factory, athletes skipping parties, students studying while others rest. Everyone sees the results, but few remember the sacrifices. Success always asks for a down payment before it delivers the reward. But most people quit too early. They hit what I call the valley of disappointment. The early days feel useless. You eat healthy, but nothing changes. You save money, but your account looks the same. You read, but don't feel smarter. So they quit, not realizing the roots are still growing underground. Success is delayed. Failure is delayed. That's why people misjudge both. Imagine digging for gold. One man digs for months, then gives up. Another digs in the same spot and finds gold 3 feet away. Most people quit 3 feet from success because they can't see what's coming. So how do you survive the valley of disappointment? Focus on the process, not the result. Don't obsess over losing 10 pounds, celebrate showing up 20 times. Don't fixate on followers, celebrate uploading every week. Take care of the process, and the results will take care of themselves. Discipline is boring in the short term but magical in the long run. Sacrifice hurts today but rewards you tomorrow. The 1% rule works, but only for those patient enough to let time do its work. Everyone wants freedom, but only the disciplined earn it. Everyone wants success, but only the consistent achieve it. Everyone wants to be unstoppable, but only those who master the boring, daily 1% habits ever become unstoppable. So ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice? What daily disciplines will you choose? Because your answers decide whether your airplane is heading toward greatness or regret. Life doesn't change in one big leap. It changes one small step at a time. Tilt your airplane by 1 degree and your entire destination changes. Japan rose again through Kaizen, 1% at a time. If a nation can do it, so can you. Success starts invisible, then compounds into something extraordinary. Don't chase the whole mountain. Just take one step today, another tomorrow, and another the day after. One day, you'll look back and realize the 1% rule didn't just make you better. It made you unstoppable. And when people ask, what's your secret, you'll smile and say, there was no secret. Just 1% better every day. Thank you.